Welcome back to the channel. This time I'm breaking out the Thousand Suns again, for a 2000 point battle against Imperial Knights. This was fought slightly pre-Castellan nerf. We rolled one of the chapter approved missions, Scars of Battle. You randomly lose a set of 6 objective cards from your deck at the start of the battle. I rolled a 2, which meant I lost all the Secure Objective X cards. Fine by me. Let's take a look at the armies. It's a straightforward Dawn of War deployment. I deploy weighted towards the right flank. Knights have the Castellan, a Gallant, and a Warglaive in the far right corner, and the other Gallant, Warglaive, and both Helverins in the far left corner. Knights get the first turn. They draw Supremacy, Duel of Honor, and Witch Hunter. The 2 Gallants come forward a little, and the Castellan wisely stays all the way back in its corner, a little shuffling around of the armatures over in the other corner. The range on the Helverins is rather annoying. They can reach out and touch anything on the board, with their friggin' 60-inch range, so Knights turn 1 shooting. I thought Magnus would have a decent, though not great, chance of surviving. However, I forgot to factor in the frickin' Raven strat to reroll all ones, for multiple shots, hits, wounds, and damage. It really makes a huge difference. In addition, the Castellan rolls pretty hot, and I just don't get the few lucky rolls I needed. The Castellan destroys him with just one of its weapons, I think.
I'm going to rip it up into tiny little pieces, and I might even pee on it.
I still think Magnus is the best choice I had into Knights, though. Like, if Magnus hadn't been there, the Castellan would easily have wrecked an equivalent amount of points from the rest of my army. I also didn't have much I could have replaced him with except maybe a Defiler and some more regular sorcerers, but sorcerers are basically pathetic when you compare what they offer the list, versus what Magnus offers. The rest of his shooting just takes a few wounds off the Predator and the Muller Fiend. So, Knights score first strike, slay the Warlord, Witch Hunter, and 2 points from Supremacy, for a total of 5 points. My turn 1, and I draw, no prisoners, defend 5, and defend 6. I decide I'll have to focus on the right side of the board. One of the objectives I need to defend, 6 I think, is on the green building on the right there. I send my Zangors to defend it, and use the Dark Matter Crystal to jump my Rubric Marines onto the defensive bastions in front of them, hopefully stalling the Warglaive if I don't manage to kill it this turn. Between Psychic and Shooting, I do manage to kill the Warglaive, and I also warp time the Muller Fiend up towards the Gallant, with Diabolic Strength on it too. It makes its charge, and I have high hopes, but I think it doesn't do quite as well as it should have. It only does a few wounds to the Gallant, about 6 or so I think, and obviously gets crushed to scrap in return. So, I scored first strike and no prisoners, for 2 points. Knights turn 2. They draw, Honor the House, Secure 1, and Defend 4. 4 is raised up on a small piece of terrain, so they can't claim it as no knight can get within 3 inches of it. 1 is in the center of the board, an easy secure. For Honor the House, I choose his Castellan, tempting it to come forwards. And come forwards it does, swaggering forwards greedy for victory points. Here's a wide shot of the battlefield so you can see the state of play after movement. I trust you don't need me to talk you through everything.
And that's just one side of me.
Yeah, so shooting isn't too horrific really. I lose the Rubrics and the Predator, then he tries to wipe out the Zangors to stop me defending the objective, but they survive. He manages to wound one of the Demon Princes but doesn't kill it. The closest Gallant charges my Zangor Shaman, and obviously completely mullers it. So at the end of the turn, Knights secured Objective 1, and I think they also scored Duel of Honor in my last turn, so they're now on 6. I completed my defend card this turn too, so I'm on 4. My second turn. I draw, Blood and Guts, Area Denial, and Master the Warp. At least, I think these are the cards for this turn. God fucking damn it, I messed up the card recording again. So this turn, I think, fuck it. Let's at least try and take out the bastard Castellan. I send my 2 demon princes flapping towards it, and bring down my big Zangor blob from deep strike as close as possible to it. In Psychic, I warp time one of the princes into a better position behind the Castellan, and both princes charge up their superpowers. One gets Flickering Flames, for +1 to wound, and one gets Diabolic Strength, for +2 strength and +1 attack. I also chip away a few wounds with smites and whatnot. I basically don't have a shooting phase now, so it's on to charges. Everyone makes their charges, and I was expecting to do quite a number on the Castellan here. I normally kit out my princes with talons, but thought I'd try out the axes, and
holy frickin' shizballs.
The axes are fucking brutal against knights, with both of my princes getting extra attacks from Death to the False Emperor, both wounding on 3+, leaving him with a 6+ save, and doing a flat 3 damage each. Who needs Magnus? The princes rip through the Castellan, destroying it without the Zangors even needing to lift a finger. Talon.
Nothing is impossible!
The Castellan does explode, however, wounding both of the princes and also taking a chunk out of the Zangors, who also lost a few to Overwatch earlier. So at the end of my turn 2, I score 3 from Master the Warp, and another 1 from Blood and Guts, putting me in the lead, 8 points to 6. Knight's turn 3. This is the turn I dropped the ball with the card photos, fuck's fucking sake. Anyway, I do know the score at the end of this battle round. So this turn, he kills the nearest demon prince in shooting, and leaves the other one with 1 wound remaining. He also kills the 3 Zangors blocking his gallant, with combined shooting from all his little stubber guns. He then charges both Ahriman, and the Changeling, and destroys both of them with ease. He finishes the turn on 9 points. In my turn 3, I basically have this demon prince, a handful of Zangors, and a sorcerer left. This nearest gallant has had a few wounds stripped from it already though. I soften it up in Psychic, charge my combat guys into it, and my prince comes good again, smashing it apart in spectacular fashion with his mighty axe. Now, I apparently score 5 points this turn. I don't know what the cards were, but the turn ends with me in the lead 13 points to 9, somehow.
See, it says it right here. It says it right here. It says it right here.
Knight's turn 4, then. Big Game Hunter, defend Objective 2, and behind enemy lines. The gallant crushes the Zangors in combat and consolidates into my last remaining sorcerer. He tries to finish off the demon prince with his Helverins, but I get insanely ridiculously lucky with my save rolls, and the prince lives.
I probably took more than anybody could survive.
He does score behind enemy lines this turn, and I think he rolls 3 points, putting him on 12. He has also started defending Objective 2, my turn 4, and I draw Ritual Slaughter, Big Game Hunter, and Power of the Cabal. Ritual Slaughter is impossible, but the other 2 are up for grabs potentially. The only way I can conceivably score Big Game Hunter is by taking out one of the armigers, so the prince swoops over towards the nearest one. He needs to cast 2 spells too, for Power of the Cabal, but I think he doesn't manage that. He then attempts the charge, but rolls a frickin' snake eyes. So, I score no points this turn, and Knights get their 2 defend points, putting them in the lead on 15. In Knight's turn 5, they move away from the prince. They then attempt to rob him of his last wound again, but he miraculously survives, again. I annoyingly don't have a picture of the cards again, but they basically score enough points to increase their lead to an insurmountable 1, combined with their inevitable line breaker point 2. So we call the game there. I end on 13 points, but Knights storm to the lead at the end with at least 16, and probably a few more in fact. Well, that's the first time I've managed to take out the frickin' Castellan, so there's that. I was also pleasantly shocked at just how effective the demon princes turned out to be at cutting through knights like carving a cake. Overall, the match turned out to be much closer than I thought it would after I lost Magnus in the first turn. Shadow hide you.